All right. Well, anyone who has listened to the podcast for more than a week knows that my favorite young actor on Hallmark is Evan Roderick, and today we have Evan Roderick joining us. Hello,
Hey
Evan. How
guys,
you
how's it
doing?
going? I'm flattered that you said that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, you just don't make a bad movie, so you make it easy, right?
Thank you.
So, all
Means a
right.
lot.
We are going to just start out right into it. Usually, kind of ease into the questions, but nope. I'm today coming out with just straight into Providence Falls, which is the big thing, happening at Hallmark right now. We had the first movie air last week. Tonight will be the second one. But when you got like cast in this, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to be on this," at what moment did you realize this? I guess it's a series, miniseries, was like not quite your average Hallmark movie. It's like just something different, and I think personally special and all that.
That's a great question. I mean, Justin, our DP, I think I realized when I started seeing some of the monitors back, because if you notice, it's a lot darker than the typical Hallmark. So I would say probably in and around week two, end of week one, I started to see how he was shooting it, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be different.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
definitely well. It's interesting because there's like sort of three feels to the movie when you're in Destiny, which I guess you're not in that part, but it's white, bright, whatever, but it's celestial. But yeah, the other ones, especially when you go back in time, it's definitely dark, and you don't get that in Hallmarks. And it's just as I was
yeah.
talking to Lucy, it seems like there's also like a gold hue to the movie, and it's just very, very richly shot. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And like you say, there's the whole Angels of Destiny part that's so blown out in white and looks heavenly in a lot of ways, you know? And then kind of the what would be the word for it? I don't know, just the paradox of seeing that and then all the Ireland stuff and how different that looks. It's really beautiful.
right. Well, so we're going to talk about Providence Falls again in a little bit, but as I was going in IMDb, and we know IMDb never lies, but it said that you were pretty much into hockey for a little part early in your life there, and I'm guessing based on what it said, you were probably thinking that was going to be your career when you were younger, or
Yeah.
where were you at? Like, because
Yeah, I
you
mean,
made pro, right? Like, or
I didn't make pro
oh,
actually. I started playing when I was five
right. Well, you're
and my
Canadian, so you gotta.
I'm, it's a rite of passage in Canada. And my dad really wanted me to play. It was really my dad's dream in a lot of ways. And so he got me into it when I was about five. And then eventually, you play so much, you start getting half decent. And yeah, by the time I was 17, I got a scholarship to play for UMass Lowell in Hockey East, Division One. And yeah, it wasn't for me. I needed more. And I'd say the acting bug kind of was starting to take hold probably grade 11, grade 12. I was doing some commercial work in the summers, and I just really felt that it was better suited to my lifestyle and kind of how my
Okay.
brain worked, if that makes sense. But
Okay.
yeah, I never played pro, but
Okay,
maybe
I thought you
that's what.
were like doing or I guess it wouldn't be pro, but the high amateur league in Canada there. So,
Yeah, junior A in Canada,
right,
and then the next step would have been Division One in the States.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I grew up in Canada too, and as you say, a rite of passage. I think it's like law that you have to play hockey when you're five, right? And then at some
it
point you
is.
can quit, but you have to at least start. So,
I
but
didn't know you grew up in Canada.
I grew up in Windsor,
Oh,
um,
you're kidding me.
right,
Okay.
with Steve Basic and Keegan.
You
Keegan was
basic. Oh, really?
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
from Windsor too. Oh,
she's
no
from
way.
Windsor as
Oh,
well.
cool.
So I
Very
then
cool.
I was born in Detroit, moved to Canada, and then moved back Detroit. But from I don't know what, like 4 through 10 or whatever, I was in Amherst or
In Windsor.
just
And
outside
so
of Windsor. Yeah.
you're a dual citizen then.
No, because I was born in U.S.
Oh, right. You weren't
So
born in
yeah,
Canada. Right. I see. I
yeah.
see.
Can I assume though that you're a Canucks fan?
Look,
Oh, quiet, quiet.
I hardly watch hockey anymore.
Really? Oh, so you
I
really
hard,
got that all out of your system, didn't
I
you?
really did. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, anytime I think about how I still dream about hockey all the time, but it's kind of like, it just feels like going backwards and maybe brings up just some weird emotions that I don't really want to live in when I think about hockey. And then watching hockey, my body can't help but be invested because it remembers so
Right, right.
much. Um, but yeah, I guess I'm a Canucks fan. Like when playoffs come around, I'll hop on the bandwagon.
Okay.
I'll do that. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm thinking you've got to get cast in some movie where they have you skating, because usually it's like an actor who can barely skate around the rink, and you completely could, do it smoothly and effortlessly and look good.
I don't know about anymore. We'll
Well,
see. You should see me on the ice now. How long has it been? It's been like four years since I've been on the ice. But
I can,
I don't know. I don't know if I could do
nah,
it.
it's funny you say that because well, my kids are now old, but when they were little, we took them skating, and my mind, like I played through high school, and that was it. But I was like, in my mind, I can totally skate and everything like that. And so when I got out there, and it had been probably at that point 20 years since I had skated, and nope, I could not. I was terrible. And so I told my wife, I'm like, I'm never skating again. I'm going to stay in my mind where I'm a good skater and just be done with it. Never,
That's
never
that's
tempt it.
exactly it, Eric. It's in my head. I'm still good,
Right.
and when I'm reminded when I go on the ice, it's a harsh awakening, and I'm like, no, you know what? I'd rather still just be that 18-year-old kid in my head. That's good. So we'll leave it at
Excellent.
that.
Excellent. All right. Well, you had a really busy weekend last weekend with three premieres. Now, Aurora, you could argue, was it a real premiere or not because it was a year ago on Plus, but a lot of people never had a chance to see it until now. So you had Providence Falls, the first episode. You had over on Lifetime, If I Run, and then you had the Aurora Teagarden uh,
Yeah.
Death at the Diner. So, first of all, were you able to actually see them since you're in Canada, or do you just have
I
to go off, the word of everyone else?
I have seen all of them.
But were
Yeah.
you able to watch on over the weekend?
I saw I saw Providence Falls a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I watched the screener similar to you. And then If I Run, I was sent a screener of it a week ago. And then Aurora I'd already seen
Right.
because we
Okay.
shot it 2 years ago. Um, or a year and a half ago, or whatever it was. But yeah, no, so I've seen all of them. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if you, were having like a watch party over the weekend and like who would you have to pick? You're like, your favorite child or
You know what's
because
funny? I would never do that because I am one of those actors who doesn't love watching myself. And I mainly watch back to be able to do press.
okay.
And so that I'm like I'm re-reminded because I really do pull my hair out when I when I watch my own stuff.
Well,
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
it's funny you say that because we mentioned Steve Basic a second ago. He definitely does not do that because when we were talking to him, he's like talking about some scenes. He's like, "Yeah, I have no idea if it made the movie," and we're like, "Yeah, no, that didn't make the movie." And he's like telling this great story, but it had literally did not make the movie at all, and he just did it
Oh,
time and time again. He has
so
great
did he?
stories.
He was telling a story that he thought was in the movie, and then
Yeah, well, like I say, he just doesn't know what's in the movies because he doesn't watch them.
that's classic Steve.
It is. Oh, he is. He is awesome.
He's
Yeah, we had
hilarious.
him on, and he was just absolutely fantastic. And he's a Lions fan too, so we bond.
That's
We
right.
bond
Yeah,
over that.
you're right. Windsor, Detroit, that would be your team.
Yeah, yep.
Right. Right.
Okay, well, I guess you had no watch party, so
No, but
that
I don't know
makes
if you
it
saw
easy.
Katie Stevens had a watch party.
All right, I didn't.
Oh
I
yeah,
I
no,
was
I don't know.
I was having to travel, so it was a good thing that I had the screener.
Oh, good, good. That's not, yeah, it's nice when you get that and you can watch it on your laptop or wherever you are. But I think I saw Katie had a screener down in Nashville. Um,
Excellent.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So when you're done though, or I've just you got to give me your agent's number because I got to talk to him because
Mhm.
here in Providence Falls, and we'll just go as far as the first episode. At the end, here you are, you got Cora flirting with Finn while you're flipping burgers. She's telling you what a great, barbecue guy you are, and then she just turns around and hightails it over to Liam and is like, "Hey, I really dig you," right? I mean,
Yeah,
come on now. And then
yeah,
Aurora Teagarden, you clearly have, all the hots for Aurora, and she's just stuck you over in the friend zone. I mean,
yeah.
it should be a rule Evan gets the girl. So You gotta give me your agent's number so I can call and I will like take over negotiations in that final thing for script approval because
Yeah.
I can't handle you in the friend zone there, Evan.
I know. I've been in the perpetual friend zone for what, 3 years now with Aurora Teagarden, and yeah, I guess that's all they're hiring me for. I guess that's how casting sees me.
Well, maybe you'll get the girl a little bit later
I'm
in
okay with it
Providence.
because I'm okay with it because I like playing a character that yearns. I enjoy doing that.
You definitely, and when we talk Aurora, Arthur definitely yearns.
He's pining. He's very much pining for
He
the role.
is. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, speaking of Aurora, there you play the young Arthur, and Peter Benson, who directed you in Leah, is the the OG Arthur and stuff. But even like before when you first got the role or when you're on set, were you like ever talking to him about like your Arthur versus his Arthur? And he's like, this is how real Arthur would do it.
Right, right. A little bit of beef. No, no. It's and I'm sure because Peter and I developed a banter by the end of doing Leah's Perfect Gift. But that was the first time I'd met him,
All right.
movie. But
So you didn't reach out before it was going, and
I didn't. I
okay.
probably should have. I probably should have. But in this industry, I figured I'd meet him pretty soon, anyways, and I didn't want to push the friendship if it didn't happen organically. I'm just that kind of a guy. But I could see, based on our banter by the end of that shoot, I could see us definitely ribbing each other at this point. I'm sure we'd do that.
Well, I mean, you're like you say, you're bound to run into him considering between his directing and acting, he's been in like, I don't know, 7,850
Hmm.
different,
He's the
projects
busiest guy in the world. Yeah.
and everything. But we really want, and the entire fandom wants, is for him to come on to the new Aurora, which, first of all, we absolutely need more Aurora because
I
I
hope, yeah.
think it is so good. I don't want to diss on the original, but in my opinion, it's better than the original. The writing is fantastic. Jessica Harmon's directing is so good. I
Great.
love you guys. And the thing a lot of people have issue with, and this is why I don't think you really needed to talk to him, by the way, is it's a prequel, and you're playing a 25-year-old, Arthur, who's nothing like someone who is a little older, as Peter Benson is, right? So it's there, but it would be
Yeah.
awesome to have him like get cast as like your uncle and or something like that, and have him on there, and have both of you guys.
Yeah, that would
Aurora.
be nice. And they should do that. And thanks for saying all the nice words about Aurora because we love shooting that show too. And Skylar and I are such good friends and all the cast really. But I really hope, I still haven't heard anything, but I really hope we can continue to make those because they're so much fun. And we all lived in Victoria for a while. And I don't know, have you been to BC?
I have not.
Now you got
I,
to come up here. We got to get you on set one of these
I
days.
know that's yeah. We're talking about Kelsey, the costume designer, and that's what she's saying. She's like, "Come on up, I can sneak in the background of
For
something
sure.
and all
For
that." I'm
sure.
like, That's my
That'd be a
dream
lot
to
of
be
fun.
the barista or like something to somebody in the background
The
and all
barista,
that."
okay, I'll keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah. So yeah, next time when you get with script and you see this really compelling barista, go, "Wait, I got just the guy."
Or even funnier, if there's a podcaster,
I'm all down.
you're the guy. Okay.
Absolutely,
Great.
absolutely. Let's just go on to you've been in it's funny. I thought you've been in more Hallmark projects than you actually have, but I guess it's just because when you do one, you just make it good, like I said earlier. But
That's
so you've done a handful of rom-coms, you've done a handful of mysteries
mhm.
with the Auroras. From you as an actor, like which one do you enjoy? Do you enjoy like that thrill and creating that, to the climax in 124 minutes where you get the big kiss, or do you like the mystery where it's more of the series and you've got that sort of slow building character arc of getting to build out a character in that aspect?
That's a really good question. Um, I really love both, and for different reasons. I mean, I do like I do enjoy a slow arc because you can develop a character more, and you can really sink your teeth into it in that regard. But there is also something really fun about, I mean, the Christmas movies, I was about to say the Christmas movies usually have more comedy, but that's not true. The
Well,
Aurora series has a ton of comedy in it. I'd say it's a mix. It's kind of just depends what headspace I'm in. And um, there's certainly a lot more exposition I find in the mysteries. And so when you're shooting a lot of scenes per day, the turnover of going home after work, memorizing for the next day can be a lot more taxing. But I don't know. I would say it's a mix. I love them both.
okay. So
Yeah.
when you started and you're like, the hockey's in the rearview mirror, I'm really getting
Yeah.
into this acting thing and you're going at it. What, like, when you envisioned your career, what were you like thinking you wanted to be? Like, what kind of actor was on your, your little dream board there?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many actors. I think I've thought less and less about that and trying to carve out a specific career the longer I've done this. But having said that, I think when I first started acting, I really wanted to be a chameleon type actor. Like Christian Bale or I don't know who else. Yeah, you can obviously say Daniel Day-Lewis or any of those guys, but there was that part of me that was like wanting to explore all these different types of characters that so didn't relate to who I am as a person. And then the more I've done it, the more you realize that there's like a few archetypes that work well on you. If you're in like the type of industry or the part of the industry that I'm in, which is I work a lot in TV movies and TV series, and there's usually a specific archetype for those kinds of shows, and and I feel like I fit into like one of three of those kind of options, and I'm really right now just trying to focus on carving out those three characters, and albeit they'll be different on each project, but there's a window that I or a margin that I feel like I exist in, and and maybe at some point I'll be able to play more like chameleon-esque parts, but for now I'm happy living inside the margins, if that makes sense.
Well, speaking of those margins, as I mentioned before, you had a Hallmark movie debut and, well, two of the
Yeah.
Hallmark movies, and then you had a Lifetime. And they're from a outward appearance quite different, right?
Hmm.
A Lifetime's much edgier and a little grittier and all that. So from
Hmm.
an actor though, is there like when you go on their set versus going on a Hallmark set, is there really much difference or is it just kind of, same thing, different location?
It's pretty similar. I'd say the only difference is it's hard for the content of what you're shooting to not affect the set at all. Because you can be having fun, but at the end of the day, if you can't click in and have to play a scene where you're finding somebody who's just been murdered, um, that can be a challenge. So I do find that the Hallmark sets tend to be lighter and bubblier in general because of what we're making. But I would say at the end of the day, they're pretty similar. It's just, you got to bear down and really get the dark scenes done, and sometimes that affects set.
Well, another reason, by the way, that we need more Aurora, and we've talked about him a couple times now, is Steve Basic. And Steve Basic and Kimberly Sustad. Like when they came on finally, like their dynamic is just gold. And like you're saying, the comedy of Aurora, which I think is underappreciated, how many good laughs, because it's not a yuck yuck laugh, but it has really good humor built into there. And it's a lot, they're a lot of the that comic relief there.
Hmm.
But on top of that is you and your role as Arthur because he's stuck in the middle, right? And it's just classic those scenes when they're going at it and then you come in and you've got to be like rookie cop and here I am.
What
Like
is
is
going
it
on?
is that as fun like on set when you're filming those as it comes across to us, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
there?
Oh yeah. And especially with those two actors. They're so funny. I find Steve to be like one of the funniest guys I've ever met. And sometimes he's trying to be funny, and sometimes he's not trying to be funny. He's just funny.
Well, that's just like his character, actually, right?
It's just like his character. And yeah, when anytime we're shooting those scenes, it's there's usually a few takes of breaking before we actually get the take.
Well, I
Yeah.
posted on Instagram on Sunday the one scene, yeah, where you're just like in between the two, and your face is just priceless because it
Yeah.
is deer in the headlights as deer in the headlights could be there. So love it.
Well, yeah, and thank you for posting so much and promoting our movies a lot. It's just it means a lot, and we all see it and we all notice it and appreciate it. So
I
thank
don't
you.
know. Well, like I say, keep making good movies, and it makes my job easy. So, um, well, one of the things is we're talking about mysteries, which I did not actually realize, and I'm going to have to go back and watch it. But when I was just getting ready to talk to you, you actually, and I think it was your Hallmark debut, was a garage sale mystery.
With Steve.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say with Steve. Now, because he was Lori Laughlin's husband, so a lot of times he wasn't in scenes with, people who were coming on. Did you actually get to film with him when you were on there?
Yes, I think I actually had a scene with him
Okay.
in that movie. But I remember we hit it off that day, and I think we went and had dinner after actually, or it might have been in the middle of the day. We had like a an early dinner. But I remember meeting him that day, and then when I saw him, the next time I saw him was what 6 years later on Aurora One, and he showed up and he said, "Evan, what's up, man?" And I said, "You remember me? Like I was there for one day with you guys, and it was your show." And he's like, "Of course I remember you." And he had me saved in his phone as just Evan actor. He didn't know my
See,
last name, so but yeah,
I would
that
say,
was a good day.
as we were talking earlier about him, that just seems totally appropriate
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
for the guy. And so, no, the big question is, I wonder if we got his phone, have you upgraded where you have last name status in his phone, or are you still just Evan Actor?
I bet you I'm still Evan, just actor.
And he probably thinks that's your last name.
Yeah, I'm sure he
Awesome.
has no idea what my last name is.
All right, so when you're in Do Garage Sale, you were just a one day type. Like,
Yeah,
what was your role in that?
I can't even remember. I think I played a college kid who was trying to come to the town to get a summer job or something like that.
Okay,
But
so
I
you weren't
yeah,
like the killer or anything like
no,
that. It
no,
was
no.
just
It
it was
was a
definitely
very
an intro
very
role.
yeah, very intro role, yeah.
Well, we talked about a little bit earlier, and you were saying how the lightness of the holiday movies and everything like that. But you were in Leah's Perfect Gift last year, which had a lot of humor in it, and it was a lot of fun. But it also was a pretty heavy message going in there with Barbara's character, and just it was a role which it actually was it came out as my number one movie of the holiday season. I
Oh, no
absolutely
way.
loved it. I'll say, I think I was an island, not to knock you, but because it wasn't light and fluffy as a lot of people say, because once again, Barbara's as the mom was not the nurturing, nice, what you expect from a Hallmark mom, right?
No, no, not at all.
And but for me, I think I also relate a little bit because it's kind of harsh, but that's how my mom actually treated my oldest brother's wife when she first came in. And
Oh,
I think it's like kind of oldest child mom letting you know thing go. By the time me being young, my mom was like, well, whatever, just get out of here
right.
and stuff. But so I actually related, and a lot of that behavior that Barbara did in there, I actually saw happen. But when
Oh,
you're on that set, were you like realizing, wow, this is, yeah, it's a Hallmark movie and it's this, that, and the other. And it didn't go like deep, deep, but it definitely touched on that family dynamic of, like I say, that mom holding on to her son a little too much and at the expense of his, kind of his happiness. She's trying to keep him happy, but causing, his to lose his happiness.
yeah. I think that's a tough part to play because Barbara drove so much of the comedy in that movie, but also had like the heaviest emotional anchor, so to speak. Like she had to like pull off that scene closer to the end of the movie and make it real. Um, but I think that's a very real thing. Like I think whether it's a father-daughter thing or a mother-son thing, I think there's It's there's a reason that it was in that script. It's obviously common enough that enough moms have a hard time letting their son go, or vice versa, fathers and their daughters. So, yeah, I'm just glad because I think Barbara did a really good job of that part.
I heard she, speaking of, we're talking about Steve being funny. I heard Barbara's uh, pretty funny behind the
Oh
scenes
yeah,
as well.
she's so funny. Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't seen any of her work before that movie,
So yeah,
and
I don't see you
she
as a
had.
guy who's hanging out watching the Hallmark Channel all day long. I got that down, but you got
Well, now I do because it's the network that I've been working for so much. So I see a lot of people's work, but she was one of those people that came on to set and everyone's like, "Oh, Barbara's here.
right.
Barbara's here." And I'm like, "Who's Barbara?" And I met her. So I kind of went in like, a deer in headlights. Um, and not knowing much, and she was just such a sweetheart. I really, really, and I prefer working that way. I don't really do background checks on people I'm working with. I like to just go in and meet them without knowing anything about them. It just helps me.
Well, that's probably why you end up in people's phones as, Evan actor.
As an actor.
You don't do all that prep like, oh, let's get
Yeah.
dinner and get to know each other
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. Well, the year before that now, you were in Sealed with a List. And
Mm,
that, once again, was in my rankings one of the absolute top movies of the year. But you had Lucy Guest, who directs two of the three Providence
yeah.
Falls movies. You had Katie Finley, who is kind of, I call her like the female equivalent of you, in that they just don't make a bad movie.
That's
And then you also had Emily Tang, who wrote it. So that movie, that was just set up for success. When you were on it, were you like, damn, I'm in a good movie this year. This is nice. Because like I say, this is still relatively early in your Hallmark career when you're
yeah.
making these.
Yeah. That movie, I don't know what it was. Like when we were shooting it, I I felt that the movie was gonna be good. Just because it was feeling really good when we'd finished scenes. But Katie Finley is so naturally talented. She's just kind of like she just steps on the set and you kind of have to keep up with her, with them. And she's just so quick-witted and uh, great at ad-libbing. And so when I started working with Katie, immediately I was just like, okay, I have to step up my game and try to keep up with Katie's pace. And then Lucy, of course, too, is she's really good at maintaining like excitement and fun on set. So she doesn't let the tempo drop. That's what Lucy's so good at. She's like, okay, guys, we're doing this now. Hey, boom, try this, try this. And so she's a really good captain of the ship in terms of keeping the everyone's good feelings up while you're shooting because I think she knows that that stuff translates in a movie. If you're having fun, the audience is having fun.
When you got cast for Providence, did you know she was directing two of the three at that time, or was it like a pleasant surprise?
I only knew when she called me. I was in Toronto. I can't remember what I was doing in Toronto. But she called me and I'm like, "Oh, Lucy's calling me. I haven't talked to her in forever." And she's like, "So you're playing Finn?" And I'm like connecting the dots and realizing that she's going to direct it. And I love Lucy. I would call her a good friend now. We've worked together so many times.
When we had her on, uh,
Oh, did you guys have her
yeah,
on?
yeah, we had her
Oh.
on, and she was sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm about to direct this project I can't talk about, but it's going to be awesome." And I later discovered it was Providence Falls. I'm like, "This is the one, wasn't it?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah," and stuff. No, yeah, Lucy, and she's one of the directors who's just been absolutely fantastic to us. Like I talk to her, all the time, and yeah, she is absolutely awesome
She's
and
such a sweetheart.
extremely talented.
Oh my
We're
gosh,
hopefully
yeah.
going to talk to her next week as well about Providence Falls.
Oh,
And
great.
when I talked to Lachlan and Katie, and we were talking about the Irish accents, they said they pretty much had about a week, which I'm guessing you may be there as well, to with the dialect coach. Is that where you were too? A week before?
A week before the shoot started?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was a week. But the thing about my character is I didn't have to do any Irish accent until we were in Ireland.
So you had a lot more time to.
So I had more time to prep. And I said this in a junket last week, but they naturally, I think, have a very good ear for accents, and so it's good that I had another month to get into it because I needed that month. Let me tell you.
Well, I'll say I think all three of you guys did a really good job,
Uh,
and
thank you.
I, Lachlan for his part because he had to maintain it for the entire
Oh my
thing,
God.
and when I looked him up, I was shocked that he was Australian. Not, I assumed he was Irish. That they would just get an Irish guy to make it easy, but yeah.
I know you would think, but I fully thought he was Irish too. I'm like, this guy is really doing a good job.
Well, so the other thing though is, in addition to that, he towers, doesn't he?
He's
Because
huge.
you're not a short guy. And he
No,
like there was one scene there when I'm like, wait, is Evan short? I'm like, no, he's not short. And
no,
all of a
I
sudden I'm
need an
like,
apple box next to. I need a rolling apple box and a
like,
walk. Like, he's
like what is he
so
like six
huge.
four, six
I
five,
think he
something?
is 6'4". I think
Okay.
he's at least 6'4". But yeah, I don't think I've ever worked with someone who made me feel like a pipsqueak, and he sure does. He's a big guy. And I don't know if you did you read the books for Providence
I have
Falls?
not. Oh.
I listened to part of the first one, the audiobook, and he is exactly what Liam is described as in the book.
Oh, so in the
Like
book he's like a big
big
dude.
dude, dark hair, good looking guy, like all those things. And Lachlan, I think, checks off all those boxes for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, I've said it before. I was fully prepared to hate him because once again he's going up against you in the love triangle. So I'm like, Team Evan here. But I tell you what,
He's a big
I
boy
was not upset when Katie went over and talked to him.
at the barbecue.
He's a charming fella.
Yeah, very
He
much
really
so.
really is.
Yeah.
Well, we will sort of diss on him a little bit because when the casting was happening, and it's like, okay, we're going to put you as Finn, and we'll do him as Liam versus, potentially the opposite and stuff. And then you got to see the screen, and when you guys were filming, and you saw that lake scene when you have to jump in the lake in the middle of whatever it was, January, February, knowing how cold it would be. We were like, damn, I'm glad I'm not Liam, I'm Finn, so I don't have to go jumping in a freezing cold lake over and over again.
Yeah, maybe in hindsight. And also, I was so sick that day. There was, especially in movie two, there's like 4 or 5 scenes where I had a really bad flu, and that day was one of them when Locke had to go in and out of the water. So yeah, I was extra thankful that day because I could barely stand that
So
day.
what do you do? Do you just like get the B12 shots going and everything like that to try to make it through the day, or how do
All
you
of
go through
those
that?
things. But there's not much you can do because the days are so long, and that was a night shoot, I think, if I recall. So it was like 2 in the morning, freezing cold. I think you just muscle through it because I think that was a Friday, and I'm like, hey, if I if I can just get through today, I have tomorrow off, and I can. But yeah, it was just. I think when we got back from Ireland, that's when we started movie two, and I got so sick just from traveling, and we'd been shooting so much, and it was midwinter too, right? Like,
Right.
yeah. But
You're reminding me of a story Dylan Neal told us about when he was doing Gourmet Detective, and he had this big kissing scene, and he had once again a cold, and so his nose just wouldn't stop running, and he's supposed to be doing the kissing scene, and he was like, how they were just trying to get him,
oh,
all cleaned up so he could just do the scene and everything.
oh,
So yeah, the things of being an actor that us as fans, because we see, the final product and
right.
everything like that. We don't see the 2 minutes before you take where you're shivering away and then you have to, hop out and do your scene,
They have
then
to
go
put
back to it.
Yeah, and they got to put 2 inches of makeup on you too. Like, oh man, your eyes are completely dark blue circles, and they're like, oof, I don't know if we can cover this today. This is
Awesome. All right. Well, one of the things that we heard when we did talk to Lachlan and Katie was that there was a big karaoke party, but you did not sing at it.
what?
Th-
Oh, we had two. I sang at one.
All right. They were
I
talking about the
I
one and they
did.
said you did not sing.
I
So,
didn't sing in Ireland.
okay.
There was
No,
so we had
was that when you were
one.
sick?
I wasn't sick, but I that sounds like I'm just coming up with a bunch of excuses now. But yeah, for Ireland, I we all flew. It was a red eye from Toronto to Dublin. And when we landed, my room wasn't ready, and I was the first one to have a costume fitting. So I didn't, I had to go straight from that flight from Vancouver, Toronto, Dublin to barely getting into the hotel to put my bags down to go to the costume fitting out in the boonies in Dublin in some outskirt town. And then back to the hotel, but by the time I got back to the hotel, everyone was already at the bar. So I was up for two days, and I'm like, I just can't do this. I'll just watch Katie, and she's got the best voice anyway. No one's gonna want to go second to her.
Yeah. Oh,
So
all right. So then you did do the one
I
at the rap. What was your
yeah
go? What was your go-to karaoke song?
I did. I think I was only doing Oasis that night.
Okay.
I think I did. I don't know where I got the confidence, but I did Champagne Supernova, and then I think I did Slide Away or something like that. But yeah, I had no business singing those songs.
Well, I don't know. Katie did say that she was like, I don't know why she didn't know why he didn't sing. She's like he can sing, he just didn't
Mm.
do it. So they just thought you were a party pooper. But
Yeah, well, that's fair too. That's fair to say.
well, are there any like fun? Well, you've actually shared a couple being like sick and everything like that. But are there any other fun like behind the scenes story that you can share with us about? What was because this is like what 2 months of shooting between
Yeah,
the
three
two or
months. Yeah,
more maybe.
yeah. Well, I think I just gave you the best one, which was, but it wasn't a detailed version. Yeah, so like we went to the karaoke bar in Ireland. That was a good story. Um, God, let me see if I can think of another one. I'd say all the fun stuff happened in Ireland. We were all on such a high wavelength together, just being there, and I would say that story is the best, and I can't really top that. But like anything we shot in Vancouver was fun too. But I feel like so many of our storylines were like we were never together as a group, if that makes sense. And I find the days that we are all together in the green room are the most fun because you have 10 actors who are all joking, clowning around in between takes and stuff. And those I found we had two of those days, I think, closer to the end of the shoot, and those were a lot of fun.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is, so you were in Ireland for a couple weeks and everything like that. Was it pretty much just all business, or did you get to actually enjoy a little bit of Ireland and have a little bit of fun, or were you just like running all around in business?
Yeah, it was pretty much all business. We had that one night, and then I believe we some of us stayed up a bit late at the hotel on the last night. But the thing is, we had to fly right back home and start shooting the second movie. So we were kind of like, it ended up being a work trip, with
Yeah.
bookended by a couple fun nights. But
Have you been to Ireland other than that though?
no,
Oh, you have to
no,
go back now, I guess, and so you can
I
actually go and enjoy it.
yeah, my fiance, she came with me actually, and she got to see more of Dublin than me. I'm like, this isn't even your trip, and she's bombing around, having fun, and checking out all the restaurants and all the old bars and stuff like that. So at least she got to see it, but I
So
didn't.
is that where you guys basically were? Was Dublin the whatever the outskirts of Dublin?
Yeah, yeah, and then there was we shot that one sequence at what's it called, Luttrelston Castle, where Beckham got married.
Okay.
Beckham and Bosch. So that was really cool and a stunning setting to shoot in. But that yeah, we didn't we didn't really get to see much of Dublin. It's too
That's
bad.
that's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, we know you've been busy so far this year, but do you have anything else coming up that you're going to be working on, or are you just sort of chilling now for a while and relaxing?
Well, I'm waiting to hear back about Aurora. Waiting to hear back about if I run.
Is
And
that like potentially sequel material?
yeah, that's a trilogy as well, or it's
Oh, okay.
supposed. Um,
I've actually never watched a Lifetime movie. I may have to give it a go.
oh, you haven't? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you should. I know this is a Hallmark podcast, so
yeah,
we
yeah.
can't promote
Well,
too
it's
much.
Hallmark. It's mysteries and more. So I
Okay,
watch a
okay.
ton of BritBox and Acorn and those other things. I just, for whatever reason, I've never done the Lifetime
Oh,
thing.
interesting. Okay, well
Yeah.
maybe you'll have to check it out. But yeah, I'm waiting to hear back on those, and then like we talked about, I just finished a movie. that I wish I could talk about today. It's too bad.
I
It was
know
a really fun one, but maybe I'll hop back on and we can do another one
it's
on
just a
that.
little shy of when all the movies are getting announced
I know.
and all that.
Another month. Another month it'll come out.
I guess the only question I'll ask is have you the your co-star? Is it is it someone you ever worked with?
No.
Okay, so
And
here,
was very excited to work with this person.
okay, and then the last question, just a hint: is it more of a fun comedy-ish one, or like we can go back to was it twas the night? What was the one where it was like the two timelines? You were in that one with Chandler and
Tale of Two Christmases.
Tales of Two Christmas. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It
so,
was it's a comedy.
okay.
It's a comedy, which was really fun to hop back into after doing Providence Falls and If I Run. So God, I know I'm gonna spoil something, but I will say
No,
the
that
comedy.
we don't have to go into much. That's what I was just trying to get. If you get to be, like I say, because Leah's what definitely had fun, and Emily was absolutely hilarious in that.
Yeah,
But
she's great.
but like I say, it did have a little more seriousness also to it
Yeah,
than some of them. So okay, well,
yeah,
good. I'm glad to see you get to get a nice light holiday movie,
yeah.
and
I mean,
hopefully you get the girl at the end of this. And so once again, I don't have to do too much
we'll see. We'll
calling
see. Based on
your
my
agent.
track record, Eric, I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
know. So, all right, well, Evan, it has been an absolute blast talking to you.
Likewise.
Like I say, I'm doing everything I can trying to get, our little fan world of pushing more Aurora and, get all that going. So we definitely need more of them. So,
Well, I really appreciate it. And like I said earlier, we all really appreciate what you're doing, and we thank you for pushing our stuff and putting it out into the world. So thank you.
all right, thanks, Evan.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, Eric. Talk soon. Ciao.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark.